So it's a gorgeous day outside, and I'm home doing 4 hours of a webinar. Why? Let's talk about that. Hello, good morning, everyone. John Henry Soto here. It is April 29th, 2021. It's 7 a.m. and had a good day yesterday. Made some announcements to a couple of friends on some things that are happening in my life. Mystery, isn't it? I will eventually be announcing some stuff. But had an interesting day yesterday. Had some meetings with some people that I haven't. My broker. I met with my broker who made me a hamburger in his backyard on his grill. We had a great time, great conversation, um, and talked a lot about business and life and what's happening in town and the future and just a lot of great conversations. And it's always nice to have somebody um, that you can really bounce ideas off of. That's an important thing to have, good friends. And so today we're going to be talking a little bit about little bug is in my face. We're going to be talking a little bit about um, sacrifices, and now sacrifices not in the cliche sense, right? Sacrifices are you got to sacrifice, for what you want, sacrifice for this. But I want to get a little bit more deeper. I want to go a little bit more into what type of sacrifices I'm referring to and the reasons you do that and why not everyone has to make these sacrifices, right? This is not for everyone, right? But it is an interesting conversation just for the simple fact that a lot of people want certain things. They want a certain lifestyle. They want to achieve certain goals. And then you have to go back, kind of reverse engineer what they're doing and see what their map is, what their map to that success is, what the roadmap. Um, and then you see that they're not putting in the work needed to get that. Like I'll hear I remember an interview with Conan O'Brien, and some kids had asked him or maybe he had asked some kids, "What do you want to do? What do you do when you grow up?" or something like that. With some younger kids, and they said, "I want to be rich and famous, like you." And they're like, "Oh, great! What are you doing? What do you do? Oh, I don't know. I'm not doing anything. I don't act or anything." And he was like thinking, like, "Well, then, what are you gonna do that's gonna make you rich and famous? What is exactly do you think is gonna happen? You know?" And it was an interesting moment because he was explaining it. The way he was explaining it was interesting. Obviously funny because he's Conan O'Brien and he's hilarious. But I thought it was because he's right. It's like, well, what are you doing? I mean, at least if somebody would have said, "Well, I'm an actor, or I'm an actress, or I'm a musician, I'm a dancer, whatever it is, there's something there that you're working towards." But when you say you're not really doing anything and that's an extreme, right? Somebody who's trying to achieve something and has no roadmap whatsoever of doing it, then chances are they're not going to get there. I mean, it's a pretty good chance, very, very, very high probability that they will not achieve that goal because you have to have some type of a roadmap. Now, we were talking about sacrifices, and sacrifices come in many different ways, right? We sacrifice ourselves for our children. We do things, we do jobs. I take jobs that maybe I don't want to take, but we need the money. We make investments on things that are risky, but we kind of feel like it might be something. You, the Isle of Bayonne page is constantly kicking me out there. Sorry, folks out there. Um, But there tends to be this strange idea that you can make it without really continuing to learn, continuing to have personal development, without learning the latest thing. You have to keep up with technology, and you have to keep up with what's currently happening, not just technology wise, but sort of like cultural, right? Like pop culture or something. And you have to keep up with, you don't have to go into politics, but you have to keep up with what's happening, at least know where the conflict is, right? um and you don't really have to know that, actually. That's all garbage. But you have to know what your passion is, where your like your goals. If you're an actor, for instance, right, you have to know how to do self tapes, right? You have to know, they call it self tapes, right? But it's submissions through the internet, right? You have to know how to do that now. You didn't have to know how to do that 10 years ago. Maybe even 5 years ago they weren't really doing it. Maybe 10 years. Definitely 10 years ago they weren't doing a lot of online submissions. They had tapes. Remember, you'd have VHS tapes back in the old days. You do it somewhere and then you have to mail it in some to a place. They're not necessarily doing that anymore, but they are doing self tapes on. So you have to know how to do that. You have to know how to operate social media. You have to get your name exposed out there. You have to be able to know how to create profiles on different platforms. You have to know how to get your photos uploaded onto different platforms. You have to know how to use the different messaging systems like the WhatsApps and the Signal and the Telegram and all the different types of communication platforms that you absolutely need in that industry. The acting industry, entertainment, basically. You need to have those. So, how are you going to do that if you don't learn, if you don't study? How to market, marketing platform, how to market on Facebook, how to market on YouTube. How to use the algorithms to your advantage, right? So all these things you know are things that have to be really, you have to dive in, and you have to take time and say, I'm going to spend this beautiful, gorgeous Saturday. I mean, I remember one day, it was like, and this was just one day, but I've had hundreds of these days in the last you know 10 years of my this career. And gorgeous day outside, and everyone was going somewhere. Everyone was calling, wait, where you gonna go? We're gonna come to the park. You want to go to the beach? You want to come over here for a barbecue? You want to do this? You want to do that? And I'm sitting at home in front of the computer learning how to build a funnel, learning how to build funnels. I did that the whole summer. The whole summer I learned how to operate a funnel and how to build them, and why they exist, and how they can benefit a business, and all these things. And um, I built a few of them successfully for a few people and a couple for myself, and did very well with that, and just learned a tremendous amount of like internet computer lingo and all that stuff. How to build, how to attach your website to a platform. I learned how to do that. I learned that years ago, but that's something that I remember I had to be at home and try to figure it out. I watched a lot of YouTube videos, how to operate editing software to edit my films. I couldn't find an editor, or I couldn't find anybody that wanted to team up with me to put these films out. So I just started studying it on my own. And during 2020, I really dove in and did a lot of webinars on editing, as well as a lot of YouTube training videos on editing. And then I just dove in and did my first one, and it's almost done. We're having a little bit of issues with the sound, but that's been resolved. I'm working with a guy in Berlin, and it's been great, and I should have that ready. But that's all because I sat my ass down, and I did not waver. I didn't give up. I just stayed there studying, learning, and trying to figure out how this was going to improve what I needed to improve, benefit the projects, the goals, whatever it is, right? And one of the benefits of doing that is not only are you helping yourself get your projects and your things, but then you realize, wow, this is valuable to others. Other people are going to need this thing. So when you sit with someone and you tell them, well, you can do this, this, and that, they're sort of like, wow, I didn't know you can do that, and you're thinking in your head, well, yeah, of course, it's all over the internet, but people do not study that. People do not sit there and do it. Why? Because they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? There's no instant gratification the way we have today. It can be, it's a long term investment into something that you don't know what you're going to use it for, right? So there's this lie being told out there that you can just hire somebody to do everything, but that takes money. It takes money to do that. And yeah, I hired an editing, a color correction guy. I hired a sound engineer and stuff to do my film, and I did that, because I wanted to get this thing finished, right? Um, but if I had a little more time, or if I would have just learned how to color correct myself and done a whole other series of take a couple of months to just really learn color correction, then take another couple of months and really learn sound engineering. And I'm probably going to be doing those anyway, and I have learned a lot during this process. But I wanted to get the project done, right? So you have to make these decisions based on what your needs are. So, in past shows, I've talked about, writing down exactly what you want to do, right? If you got up every morning and you had to do one thing, pick one activity that you can do that people will pay you and that you love to do, what would that be, right? And nobody be funny and say sleep, drink coffee. I get it. But seriously, what is that one thing that you would just love to do for the rest of your life? Map, create a roadmap to that. You know, you may be an expert in cell phone covers, just the cover itself. You know how to design them, how to get them discount, where to purchase these. You created a website. You are the king or queen of cell phone covers. You know all the different models, the different styles, the flipping ones, the ones that are just straight. You know all you need to know about it, so you can create a whole industry based on exactly that, on exactly what you know. You may be the Pokemon king. You just happen to learn all about Pokemon because your kids did. Well, there's your a business, and you love it. You have to love it. You love cell phone covers. You love Pokemon. You love uh, jackets. You love hats. You love whatever it is that you're passionate about can be turned into a business. There's a book by Russell Brunson called Expert Secrets. If you can go on to you can actually go on to expertsecrets.com, and I think it's free. You get a free copy. You pay the shipping, which is like $7 or whatever it is, and you get this free book, and it's wonderful. I've read it numerous times, and it's a good reference book, and it basically just gives you it shows you how to take what you are an expert at. Maybe you're really good at making scrambled eggs, and that's your expertise. But how to taking something as simple as a scrambled egg and becoming the scrambled egg king in your community, in your area, and making an actual living off of it. And it could take you 3 years, it could take you 5 years, But the thing is, if you don't start today, if you didn't start 5 years ago, then today you're in square one. But then start today, because in 5 years you're gonna look back at this moment and be like, "Ah, I should have started when I already thought it was too late, but now it's really too late, or now it's getting later, right? You can still probably start then, but you have to start and say, I'm going to start working towards this goal that I have, or this thing that I really am passionate about. Not going to happen overnight. You have to learn a lot about that thing. You have to go online, you have to do webinars, you have to sacrifice those days of going out. You're going to have to do that. I mean, you're going to have to take days where it's gorgeous out and you're looking out the window like this, seeing everybody running around, having a ball, and hearing all the children laughter, and you're in front of your computer on a live webinar trying to find the answers to being successful, right? So there's a lot of different sacrifices that a person can make to get there. The first one is time, right? You have to sacrifice some time, and you have to make it sufficient, and you have to put it into what I do is I put it into my universe. I created it's innate in me. I'm not going to go spend 3 hours in the park because I know that when I come back, I'm just going to be tired, hot, and not gain any knowledge or anything towards my goal by going to the park. You're just not going to do it. It doesn't matter. It may be fun, and that's great. And maybe your life is just, look, I just want to have fun. I just want to go to the park. Awesome. Awesome. You can't obviously say, but I also want $1 million, or I also want a big house. I want cars. I want to be, or I want to stay home with the family and I don't want to put in so many hours working. All these things are extremely out of reach if you're not putting in the time to learn the roadmap. Now, the wonderful thing about doing it today, like right now in 2021, is that so many people have already achieved it. They've achieved success with specific things that they've done. Some of them have classes, some of them have webinars you can get, some of them have a whole package that you can just purchase for a couple $100, and it teaches you everything you want to know about that thing that you love. And today, in 2021, you can go on YouTube, type in whatever you want to learn how to do. Go on and type in, I want to learn how to make scrambled eggs, the perfect scrambled eggs. There is somebody out there who made a video on how to make the perfect scrambled eggs. There's somebody out there probably who knows all about cell phone cases as well, and they've made videos. There are people out there who show you how to build a store. These are all free, by the way. You don't have to pay anything. And you go on and you watch, make sure that you look at the latest video, right? You don't watch a video from 5 years ago because the industry changes way too much. Not even 2 years ago. Make sure it's anywhere from 6 months to a couple of days, and watch those videos. They will guide you, they will also motivate you to continue going, especially when you get excited about hearing what they have to say, because there's nothing more thrilling than looking at someone with your passion being successful on the internet and showing you how you can do it, and you're like, oh wow, that's interesting, I can do something like that. This show that I have right here was from watching tons and tons of videos where everyone kept saying, you got to go live, you have to go on your phone, you have to go do live streams from different locations, you have to create a group, a local group that people, businesses can actually utilize, you have to go, all these things that I kept hearing all these gurus saying. That was the one constant comment that was made by all these different gurus, was to do this. And so I pushed myself into getting on in front of the camera, and it was not easy because I'm an actor, but I'm not necessarily a personality. I'm not highly educated with a degree or anything like that. My education comes from street smarts and from my church and from learning things there, which is fine because I get by. I can order in a restaurant. I want chicken. You see, I'm fine. I speak Spanish. So I can do that. Yo quiero pollo. You see, I can eat if I need to eat. So I'm actually educated enough where I can survive. But I wanted more. I want to learn how to help others. And how you do that is you have to use the technology. You have to use the social media. You have to go live. This is what I'm doing. And I think everyone, I got my wife to do it. I pushed her. And she didn't want to go live. She was like, oh, I'm not a, but maybe you can do it for me. And right there, I'm just like, oh no. I cannot do that. I don't have the time to now start being the host for somebody else's show, and especially when I don't know that much about it. And they have the she has the passion for the art, you know. But we did it, you know, and she got on, and she's been doing it consistently more and more. She's getting a lot better at it. She's getting a lot of engagement, and now she just does it, you know. And we look back, and I have to remind her. I was like, "Do you remember the conversation I had?" It is that first time that you're doing it that's the toughest. I guarantee you that when you do it one, when you finish that one, you're gonna take a deep breath and you'll be like, okay, you know what? That wasn't that bad. I'm gonna, and you can go back and watch it and say, okay, I need to adjust this. I need to change that. Maybe I can speak a little faster. Maybe I can stop saying, mm, people do. It's a natural way of speaking, right? You're thinking about what to say, and that's what comes out of your mouth. I do it. Everybody does it, right? So I say the word so a lot. So. And I'm like, all right, well, that's who I am. You know what I mean? If people don't want to listen, so what? So I see what I did there. Um, so we're getting to the point of in social media and in this world of the internet where anything that you're interested in, you can find somebody that's doing it successfully and making a living out of it, right? And that's what the secret to life is find somebody that's doing a successful thing and then do what they do. And you add your own personality, you add your own twist, but you really, if somebody's done it already, just use that. You know what I mean? I'm using social media, I'm using these platforms that a lot of people have used in the past, right? um I'm speaking the way a lot of people speak. I say things that are sometimes inappropriate the way a lot of people say, we're in this interesting time of life right now where I'm involved in a lot of different things, and um, I'm doing it because in the past have done it, and I'm just following their lead and using them as motivation. Of course, it's my own personality, it's my own brand, it's my own thing that I'm putting out there, but it's inspired by a lot of people like Howard Stern and Joe Rogan, and the list goes on. I remember Jay Thomas, and those don't remember that Jay Thomas on the radio, Imus, the guys from Z100 in the morning, all those characters, all those really, really brilliant people are inspiring to me, and I hope to just improve and get better. I watch videos on it. I've done webinars on doing live stream. I've done as much as I possibly can. The only thing I can do right now is just do it. Now I've done hundreds of shows, and I'm way more comfortable now doing it than ever. This is live, right? And that's where you get nervous. But why? Why are you nervous? If people are watching, they're watching you because they're interested in what you're saying. And if they're not interested, they just tune out, right? This is the way life works, and that's totally fine. There's 7 billion people on Earth. I mean, you can't find a couple thousand that are interested in what you're doing. Of course you can. Of course you can. Everybody can. And if you can, there's the 1,000 rule, right? If you have 1,000 true fans, which I've spoken about in the past, and I have to go into a little bit more detail with actually the guy who came up with this idea, but it's 1,000 true fans. A true fan is somebody who's going to watch every show of yours, is going to follow you on social media, is going to purchase anything that you put out. That's a true fan, right? They're really invested in what you're doing for to help and be part of your world, right? If you have 1,000 of those and you create $100 of content of merchandise that people can buy, or of things, electronic things, downloads, a hat, a t-shirt, a jacket, whatever you come up with. You come up with $100 worth of content to sell, and your 1,000 true fans, they're gonna buy it. You put out a $5 thing, you put out a $20 hat, you put out a t-shirt, you put out that, and in 1 year you create that much $100 worth of stuff that you create. In 1 year, you would have generated $100,000 based on those 1,000 people, because that 1,000 people are committed to following you because they like you. They like what you're doing. Okay. So you don't have to think in the millions of followers, think in the 1,000, think in the couple hundreds to start off with, you know. And if, I mean, think about it, if you made $50,000 a year doing what you love to do, would that satisfy you? You can be home with the family, and you're literally just living your life and documenting it and putting out content and promoting your brand, whether it's you're selling mugs or whether you're selling t-shirts, whatever it is that you're passionate about. Think about that. If you're doing 500 true fans, not the thousand, let's say 500. Now you're looking at 50,000. Let's say 400, and you're looking at 40,000, right? 3,000, 30,000. How much money do you need to survive, or how much money are you willing to make? And it all depends on the sacrifices that you make and how much of an investment you put into yourself, into building your own abilities. And we all have that ability to help others. And in order to help others, we need to learn all the tools around us to do that, because we're living in a different time. We have to learn how to do this, in order to be effective, and an effective person that can help others. All right, folks. I want to thank you so much for listening. I appreciate all of you. I hope that was of some value to you. Get out there and get it done. Take a couple of hours on a weekend day and just sit in front of the computer, learn something that you're passionate about that's going to help you in the future. I guarantee that it will help you. I promise you. And you will look back and go, wow, I spent 2 hours a week for 2 years, and I've gained so much knowledge. I know how to do this now, and it's a real joy to do that. So please take the time. Take the time to do it. All right, folks. Thank you very much. Take care of yourselves. Make today great. Do the things that you love. Take care of each other. And I'll see you all tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. If you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm here every morning at 7 a.m. from Monday to Friday, and having a conversation about different subjects. If you have an idea for a subject, please send it over. I appreciate it. Thank you all so much. See you tomorrow morning. And as always, peace.